Do you ever find yourself thinking about the things that shaped your childhood? The sounds, the images, the stories that stayed with you long after you outgrew your toys and your Saturday morning cartoons. There are certain moments, certain worlds we stepped into as kids that left marks deeper than we realized at the time. And for so many of us, one of those unforgettable worlds was the world of Dragon Ball Z. Tonight, let's take a slow, nostalgic journey into how Dragon Ball Z became the greatest anime of our childhood, exploring its rise, its legendary fights, the unforgettable characters, and why it still quietly lives in our hearts. It started with a boy named Goku, a cheerful, wild-haired martial artist living in the mountains, unaware of the destiny that waited for him. For those who had glimpses of the original Dragon Ball, Goku was already a familiar figure. But it was Dragon Ball Z that took his story and turned it into something mythic, something larger than life. When Raditz arrived on Earth, bringing with him news of Goku's Saiyan heritage, it changed everything. The idea that this playful, kind-hearted boy was actually an alien warrior sent to conquer Earth was both shocking and thrilling. And it was only the beginning. That first battle, where Goku and his former enemy Piccolo fought side by side against Raditz, gave us a taste of what made this series special: fierce rivalries, reluctant alliances, and the kind of sacrifice that left a mark on young viewers' hearts. From there, the world expanded. The arrival of Nappa and Vegeta raised the stakes. Battles that once took minutes now spanned episodes. Every fight carried weight, with characters we'd grown to care about risking everything. Yamcha's iconic farewell, Tien's desperate stand, and Kieotsu's selfless sacrifice were more than action sequences. They were lessons about loyalty, bravery, and loss. And then came one of the greatest rivalries in anime history, Goku versus Vegeta, the low-class warrior against the proud prince of all Saiyans. Their battle, illuminated by crumbling landscapes and the roar of ki blasts, left a generation of kids wide-eyed and breathless. It wasn't just the action, it was the emotion, the clashing ideals, and the unspoken respect forged in the heat of combat. The journey to Namek took us to new worlds and higher stakes. The hunt for the Dragon Balls, the looming threat of the Ginyu Force, and the monstrous power of Frieza gave us battles that felt like legends in the making. And when Goku, pushed past his limits by the loss of his friend Krillin, transformed into a Super Saiyan, it was a moment that changed anime forever. That golden aura, the shift in his voice, the sheer emotional weight of it all, created a scene that fans would replay in their minds for years. But Dragon Ball Z wasn't just about battles. It was about characters, each one flawed, proud, brave, and loyal in their own ways. Piccolo, once a villain, slowly becoming a protector and father figure to young Gohan. Vegeta, struggling with his pride and finding his place among his former enemies. Krillin's unwavering loyalty. And Gohan, the quiet, kind-hearted boy who would one day rise to surpass even his legendary father. The Android and Cell sagas took those characters to new heights. Trunks, the mysterious warrior from a doomed future, arriving with his sword and tragic warning. His effortless defeat of Mecha Frieza gave us one of the coolest introductions in anime history. And the slow, creeping terror of the androids, followed by the arrival of the bioengineered Cell, built a sense of dread and anticipation that made each episode impossible to miss. Gohan's transformation into Super Saiyan 2 during the Cell games remains one of the most beloved moments in anime. The flicker of lightning, the fierce gaze, the rage born of loss and injustice. It was the moment the torch was passed, a soft-spoken boy becoming Earth's strongest warrior. And when father and son combined their energy to defeat Cell in a final blinding Kamehameha, it felt like the culmination of years of storytelling. Even the quieter moments stayed with us. Piccolo training Gohan in the wilderness, Vegeta's tender moments of vulnerability when no one was watching, the banter between characters during peaceful times. These moments gave the show its heart. They reminded us that strength wasn't just in battles, but in the bonds between people. And then came the Majin Buu saga, a saga that started with comedy and mischief, but slowly unraveled into one of the series' darkest and most emotional arcs. Majin Buu, with his childlike demeanor and terrifying power, was a unique kind of villain, and watching our heroes fall, rise, and fuse together to stop him kept us on the edge of our seats. Vegeta's sacrifice against Majin Buu is remembered as one of the most emotional scenes in Dragon Ball Z. The proud warrior, always chasing Goku's shadow, finally finding peace and protecting his loved ones. His quiet goodbye to his son before embracing his fate left many of us quietly misty-eyed. And then there was Goku's ascension to Super Saiyan 3. The transformation, with its wild golden hair and deep roaring voice, was pure spectacle. A moment that felt earned after years of waiting to see just how far our hero could go. The fusion technique gave us fan favorites like Gotenks and Vegeta. Watching characters combine their strengths and personalities created new dynamics and unforgettable battles. And finally, in the battle against Kid Buu, the last and most dangerous form of the villain, we saw one of the purest expressions of hope in anime. Goku's spirit bomb, gathering energy from the entire universe, represented more than just a final attack. It was a symbol of unity, of every living being's wish for peace. When the battle was over and the dust settled, it felt like the end of an era. Dragon Ball Z closed a chapter on a story that had been with us for years. But even as new series and sequels appeared, those original stories remain the ones that lived in our hearts. It wasn't just about power levels and transformations. Dragon Ball Z resonated because it reflected our own childhood struggles. The desire to grow stronger, to protect those we love, to overcome impossible odds. It taught us about friendship, sacrifice, and resilience. And it wrapped those lessons in epic battles, unforgettable music, and characters we could root for and relate to. We remember the small things, too. The theme songs that became anthems. The afternoons spent reenacting fight scenes in backyards. The schoolyard debates over who would win in a fight. The action figures lined up on shelves. The posters on bedroom walls. It was more than a show. It was a culture. And now, as our quiet journey through the story of Dragon Ball Z comes to a close, I hope it brought back memories you hadn't felt in a long time. The kind of memories that quietly wait in the corners of our hearts, only to resurface when the world slows down and we remember the things that once made us feel unstoppable. It's easy to forget how much a simple animated series could mean. How characters on a screen became friends, heroes, and reflections of ourselves. But Dragon Ball Z was never just about battles or transformations. It was about resilience in the face of impossible odds. About loyalty that never faltered. About the endless drive to be better, stronger, kinder. And about the people who stood beside you, whether they were warriors from another planet or childhood friends cheering from a living room couch. Those unforgettable moments. Goku's first Super Saiyan transformation, Vegeta's sacrifice, Gohan's rise to greatness weren't just scenes in a show. They were markers of our childhood. Little lessons about courage, sacrifice, and heart that stayed with us, even when we didn't realize it. And beyond the episodes, we carried Dragon Ball Z into every part of our lives. In the playground battles, the after-school conversations, the trading cards passed between eager hands. In the theme songs we hummed without thinking and the posters that lined our bedroom walls. It was a piece of our identity, a shared language that connected us to friends and strangers alike. Even now, as years pass and new stories come and go, Dragon Ball Z holds its place because it wasn't just an anime, it was a part of growing up, a symbol of strength when we felt small. A reminder that no matter how tough things get, there's always a way forward. So tonight, as you settle down and your thoughts drift to quieter places, let those memories linger. The glow of a television screen. The roar of energy blasts. The quiet hope in every final desperate fight. And remember, the greatest stories never truly leave us. They live quietly in our hearts, waiting to be remembered. Thank you for sharing this nostalgic journey with me. Sleep well, old warrior. Until our next adventure together.